I want to be a breathing, altered woman. Chapter 3. One rainy evening, I was sitting bored in my living room. I had no energy, no inspiration to do something productive, so I was scrolling through streaming platforms trying to find something to watch. But of course, it's difficult to decide when there's so many options. So I decided to watch something random. I closed my eyes, held the down arrow on the remote, and counted to 10. Then I stopped scrolling and checked what the cursor stopped at. It was a movie called The Paperback Girl. The poster showed a girl wearing a blue hoodie and a grey paper bag. I played it without even reading the synopsis. I have to say, the movie moved me. It was about a girl who always wore a paper bag. If anyone saw her face, the sight would have made them suffocate and even die. The story focused on her trying to live a normal life, while two warring shadow organizations were trying to capture her. They wanted to use her as an assassin, but she hated the power of her face and never wished to use it. She never wished to have it, she simply wanted to live in peace. An important theme in the movie was trying to live in the body you hate, yet cannot change. And it made me notice how little media there is about people like me. There are stories about transgender people, there are stories about people with NIAS, but I couldn't recall a single story about a character that would fit both of those boxes. And The Paperback Girl managed to fit that hole despite being about neither. Soon after, I bought the book on which the movie was based. Seeing all the nuance lost in the 2 hours long adaptation made me appreciate the story even more. I actually wanted to write a story like that, something to make the reader feel better. The next day, I got a message from Boris. 1:58, I'm going to talk with the team tomorrow. I knew what it meant, and I was happy for him. He has beaten his goal of 2 minutes. Speedway championships were getting closer. I wrote him back. That's great. I hope you get to ride soon. That day, on my way home from work, I happened to pass by a bookstore. In the window, there was a magazine stand. There was a new issue of Rainbow News, the most popular magazine about gay and transgender life and pop culture in the country. Normally, I don't buy it, but this time I saw an intriguing headline. Contest. Write a rainbow story. Get featured in an anthology. I thought that I wanted to write something for the contest, so I bought the magazine to read more. The contest was fairly simple. Write a short story about a gay or transgender character, at least 2 pages, at max 20. 5 winners will be featured in an anthology released by the Rainbow News publishing house. I knew I had to try. It was only when I came home when I realized that I had no idea what I could write about. A few days later, I met Boris on my way to the pharmacy. Oh, hi, nice to see you here, he said. You too. How's your career going? Wonderful, actually. I'm gonna drive in an exhibition race this Saturday. Wow, that was fast. And how's your life going? You know, there's this story contest I want to write for. The one in Rainbow News? Yeah, how did you know? I read it from time to time. I was surprised. I wouldn't think of Boris reading such a magazine, but I guess people can surprise. What are you going to write about? Boris asked. I don't know yet. It's hard to come up with a good idea. Boris thought about my problem, and he actually found a solution. How about you write about yourself? What? I said. Write about a cocoon, a trans person with NIAS. That's something you in particular should write. It would be almost like writing about yourself. I was shocked that I hadn't thought about it earlier. That's actually an awesome idea. When I got home, I turned my computer on and opened the text editing program. First, the title, I said. I pressed some keys and wrote, I am a cocoon. For now it's okay, I can always change it as I write. And then I hit a wall. It's one thing to have an idea for your story, but you also have to know what exactly you want to write. I knew I wanted to write about someone like me. That was a good point to start. Now I simply had to find the rest of the story. For a moment, I thought I had a nice idea. What if I write a story about a journalist that would run interviews with people like me? But that would require her to go somewhere where there would be many of them. A hospital seemed like a good place. Wait, what if I flip this idea on its head? It was perfect. Instead of a person from outside, let's write about a patient. And let's have her meet another patient just like her. And let's have them have some talks about life, identity, and beauty. The idea was ready. It was time to flesh it out and start writing. Day after day, it was easier for me to write. First day a single paragraph, next day some more, then more and more and more. Soon I felt the need to write even during the breaks at work. I came to Boris' Saturday race. It wasn't what I expected, even though Boris did explain it to me. It was a series of short races. Boris called them runs, if I remember correctly. It was fun seeing Boris ride on his motorbike in his green team jacket. Some runs he did great, some he did not. I couldn't really grasp how scoring worked, so I was asking the spectator sitting next to me. The final run came, and I asked him for the score. So the green are winning? Can they still lose? Yes, if both the blue drivers come in the lead in this run. The signal went off and the run started. The first lap was chaotic. No one could stay in the lead for more than a few seconds. The second lap saw the green team taking the lead. They quickly dashed through the third lap and I was sure they were going to win. But halfway through the final lap, the blue team overtook them and claimed the victory. It felt heartbreaking. I was rooting for Boris. We met after the race. Boris seemed more satisfied than I expected. It sucks to lose like that, doesn't it? I said. Actually, I think I did way better than I expected, said Boris. We lost by a very small margin. Still kind of disappointing. Next time we'll do better. I was near the end of writing. I was going back home from work. I was missing about 2 pages. I couldn't wait to get home and get to work. The forecast said there was some pollen and smog to be expected in the city today, but still a safe amount for me. When I was passing near a bus stop, my shoes got untied. I sat under the shelter to tie them. Suddenly, I felt an awful smell, like if something was burning. Momentarily, I felt the difficulties breathing, as if my throat was constricting. I looked up to find the source. I noticed a man smoking a cigarette. I quickly grabbed my inhaler and took click after click, but then I saw darkness. At the hospital, they told me that my problems could have gotten worse. I needed to increase the dose of the medicine. I needed to take a leave from work. I needed to rest. When at home, I felt awful. I felt fragile. I felt useless. Was my nausea getting worse? Was I actually getting weaker? Did I do something that could have caused it? What could it be? Was I getting close to the limit of my life? How much time was there left for me? I had no energy to do anything. I fell into bed and tried to cry my anxieties away. Never before have I felt my life running away so quickly. I doubted there was any sense of going on. With that feeling, I fell asleep. Next day, I woke up feeling numb. For the first time, I had to prepare my medicine out of 7 milliliters of the substance and 70 of water. I was trying to find a way to remember this proportion. Nothing came to my mind, so I simply wrote it on the bottle with the marker. In my phone, I found a message from Boris. Hi, how are you feeling today? I wrote a quick reply. The breathout caught me. I feel awful. I'd prefer not to talk about it. Breathout is the heaviest word in the NIAS slang. Loss of consciousness due to breathing problems. Distressing to hear. Are you feeling alright today at least? Yes, but I won't be back to work for quite some time. Get well soon. We haven't sent each other any more messages that day. I was strolling through my flat trying to find anything to kill time. Nothing seemed quite right. Nothing seemed like pleasure. And then I noticed Rainbow News on my desk. I thought about the story I was writing. I remember I have almost finished. Maybe I could try writing further. Alright, I thought. It's not like I have anything better to do today. It was a slow process, but it made me feel better. It was a good way to keep my mind free of what happened. Soon my story was finished. I was overjoyed once again. I felt that I could do something. I felt that Boris was right, that I should have written that story. It turned out to be a lot more personal than I expected. I sent the story and waited for the results. Next month, I bought the new issue of Rainbow News. It came in a plastic foil. It was thick. Inside, there was an anthology of the winning works. I didn't even wait to get home. I opened the magazine in front of the store and looked for the page with the contest results. The winning work was written by San Jesienne. I congratulated them in my mind. I decided to read their story when I get home. I couldn't see my story in second place either, nor third, nor fourth, nor fifth. It was a bit sad to not see my name among the winners, but I was happy for them indeed. I was about to close the magazine when I saw one more name. Distinction. I Am a Cocoon by Marzena Iskra, for telling a story about an important matter that we do not notice in everyday life. I couldn't believe my eyes. I took the book out of the foil and opened the table of contents. And on the bottom, I found I Am a Cocoon. I found my name. I found my story. I felt euphoria like I have never felt in my life. I called Boris. He answered after the third signal. "Hi Marzena, nice to hear you," he said. "I won!" I couldn't hide my joy. "I've got a distinction!" "Wow, that's great to hear!" Boris did not sound as enthusiastic as me, but I could hear his compersion. "I have to read it then," Boris said. "I just bought the new issue. I can borrow you the book." "I'd be honored." The day after Boris borrowed the book, he wrote me a message. "Just finished reading. I loved your story. It was strong. It does seem like you've put a lot of yourself into it." I felt happy about his compliment. I asked him a question. "Do you think I can make people feel better with my writing?" In an instant, Boris replied, "Yes, I am sure of that." I realized this is what I needed to hear. I remembered everything that happened recently, all the best moments I've spent with Boris, all his tips, how a poem I've randomly found inspired me to try putting my feelings on paper, how I've decided I want to cheer people up, just like the story of the paperback girl. Life is a never-ending series of surprises. I have felt that I have found the way I wanted my life to go. I have found happiness. I have found something that Nias could never take from me. Next day, after the shower, I looked into the mirror. It was covered with tape. I wanted to remove it. I slowly peeled the tape off piece by piece. I saw my face. Bulky, manly, imperfect. I saw my hair that looked like something belonging to someone completely different. I did not like what I saw. But for the first time since my diagnosis, I was not bothered by it.